taxpayer expense.
Now at 6, after very heavy amounts of rain yesterday, last night, more showers and thunderstorms tonight. We're going to break that down.
Plus, a look at the flooded rivers, roads, and fields across parts of the 4 states, and
open enrollment could become the new normal for Kansas schools. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the experiences of one school district who already has this in place.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Rivers and roads are flooding all across the 4 states as Mother Nature continues to dump massive amounts of rain. Water levels at Spring River in Cherokee County were 3.5 feet above flood stage, and the level was expected to rise at least another 4 feet before cresting tomorrow. Lightning Creek near McCune and the Neosho River from Commerce, Oklahoma to Parsons are also flooding. This is KOAM News at 6. It seems the rain is not over yet. Let's go to Doug Heddy for our first look at the weather.
Yeah, of course, those creeks and streams and rivers continue to rise through the overnight hours, and we're going to add a little bit more rain on top of it as we go through the evening and the overnight hours for us tonight. Finally, the backside of this system is going to rotate in. It's pretty dry right now in southwestern Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, but look at the showers and thunderstorms picking back up again in southeastern parts of Kansas, down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Good news here is we're not going to see much in the way of severe weather, but we are going to see some stronger storms. We may get a low-grade severe storm, but these are going to continue to increase southeastern Kansas, tracking off toward the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and showers and thunderstorms increase across the region. Here's 7:30. Let's go through the evening hours. You can see these are scattered, but scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. Finally, we will start to dry out. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you then. In McDonald County, Missouri, look at this. Floodwaters have crept into Big Elk's floats and camping near Pineville. The campsite's Facebook page says there won't be any camping in the A or B sections this weekend because of that very high water. Across southwest Missouri, a lot of roads and low areas are flooded, and authorities say they're going to remain that way tonight. That's led to at least one water rescue. The driver of a half-ton truck became stalled in low water in the Seneca district. The driver managed to climb on top of the truck once the cab filled with water. A backhoe was used to rescue that driver. It's a similar scene in parts of southeast Kansas. In some cases, there might not be barriers warning drivers. Even roads that might seem passable can be dangerous in conditions like this. If in doubt, as always, the advice is go around, don't drown. And it's not just flooding. Some trees were broken in Joplin, possibly from the high winds of the microburst. And whenever the ground is as soggy as it is right now, obviously the risk climbs that trees could be uprooted. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. It's free of charge. You'll find it in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Last night's storms turned destructive near Oklahoma City. Widespread tornado damage was reported in Seminole. No one was hurt, but roofs were ripped from buildings. Multiple trees and power poles are down, and power outages are reported all across that area. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt today toured the damage.
Emergency management folks, we're still assessing all the damage, getting all the resources and supplies that the city wants and needs. Structural engineers, we've got additional law enforcement coming, and so we've got the drones kind of assessing the damage, so we'll go through that process, but thank the Lord nobody was hurt.
In nearby Seminole, close to the town of Maud, video was captured of a tornado tearing through a marijuana farm. There were no reported injuries there either. Take a look. Kansas students could soon transfer to any public school in the state, even if they aren't a resident of that district. It's part of a mega bill that Governor Kelly is expected to sign. Some southeast Kansas schools already allow this, including the Columbus School District. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on the impact on students.
Not every school will be the perfect fit for a child, and a Kansas bill expected to be signed into law could help those kids out.
Some districts are better fits than other districts for students.
The bill would allow Kansas students to transfer to any school district in the state, even if they don't live in that area. It's something the Columbus School District has been doing for a while.
Gosh, this has been going on, I couldn't, pretty well my whole entire career you've been allowed to go to other districts.
Brian Smith, Columbus superintendent, says it can benefit students in a number of ways, from academics to sports. Although it does get a bit tricky.
They have to sit out a period of time if they change schools unless they make a bona fide move. In other words, they move into that district. So if they were the neighboring district and they wanted to come play basketball because you had a better basketball team, they'd have to sit out a period of time. So most don't want to do that.
Smith says another issue that comes up is school bonds and taxpayers being affected by students who don't live in the area.
On bond issues, if you're building new buildings, the taxpayers in that district are paying for that. Like here in the Columbus district, we don't receive any state aid. So if you did accept an out-of-district student, they wouldn't necessarily be carrying their fair share. But we have no control over that now. Before we could say, no, we won't accept them. But now, with this law, that's changed.
The final version of the bill would require each school district's Board of Education to determine the capacity for the district to accept out-of-district students by 2024. In Columbus, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Now, under the bill, school districts are not required to provide transportation to non-resident students. Coming up, an event kicks off in Kansas highlighting all the things to do in some area counties. Plus, Missouri State Parks hosts a renaming ceremony for a park in Branson. Some people in Kansas are traveling around our part of the state for the Big Kansas Road Trip. It's an annual event to highlight different counties in the state and everything they have to offer. This year, the spotlight is on Bourbon, Cherokee, and Crawford counties. A guidebook has been published to help explorers on their way. The marked locations include the old blockhouse in Fort Scott and Pittsburgh State University.
People see a part of the state that they don't know, and to spend some money, support the local economy, and just really get to know Kansas. So that's part of the Big Kansas Road Trip.
The road trip runs through the weekend. Today is the National Day of Prayer. It's an annual day of observance designated by Congress in 1952. To celebrate, First Baptist Church in Webb City hosted its annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. Many people gathered to have breakfast and prayer for the city and for the nation. People met again around noon around the Praying Hands for an informal time of prayer.
I am obviously a person of faith, and I believe there are a lot of things that make this nation great, but the glue that holds it all together is the prayers of God's people.
The National Day of Prayer is observed annually on the first Thursday in May. Missouri State Parks announced it's changing the name of Ozark Mountain State Park near Branson to Shepherd of the Hills State Park. Governor Mike Parson and Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe were at the park to announce the unveiling of the new name. Reporter Madison Horner shares more about the park's history and plans for the future.
Located in western Taney County, the newly renamed Shepherd of the Hills State Park is filled with woodland landscapes, springs, and streams. Missouri Governor Mike Parson says renaming the park honors the Shepherd of the Hills writer Harold Bell Wrights, whose contribution to the region drew thousands of visitors to the area for more than a century.
To come back here for your kids and your grandkids and that passed down from generation to generation. Again, that's part of who we are in Missouri, and this part of the state is something we want to showcase and pass it down.
Missouri Department of Natural Resources Director Drew Bunton says over the next year and a half, they will be adding amenities such as campgrounds, hiking trails, and picnic areas. Bunton says funding for the park will come from the Parks and Soils sales tax, and its reopening will have a huge economic impact and bring new jobs to the area.
When you look at agriculture and manufacturing, really tourism and outdoor recreation are the next thing that kind of exists in terms of the significant economic in addition to the ecological benefits of it.
Governor Parson says with inflation on the rise, he expects more people to make shorter trips and learn more about what the state already has to offer.
So I think these parks are going to play a huge role in the future of our state for Missourians, but also the people who's going to come in here and enjoy it.
The park is not yet open to the public, but it is expected to open in the summer of 2024. Once it is, visitors will be be able to explore more than 2 miles of Roark Creek, 5 other streams, and more than 700 known plant species.
May this park be a place of healing and comfort and beauty for generations to come.
The change comes after public comments and suggestions at 4 public meetings held at the park. A little bit later, Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball players rack up the All-MIAA honors.
Plus more showers and thunderstorms rolling through for tonight. We're going to break this down for you coming up. Well, of course, we've had a ton of rain over the past couple days. We do need a break. We need to dry out just a little bit when it all comes down at once. Of course, it causes flash flooding issues. That's what we have seen over the past 36 hours. In fact, look at our rainfall, 1.5 inches since midnight. That's at the Joplin Airport. Just since midnight, some areas a lot higher than that. Today's only the 5th. We're approaching 6 inches for the month, for the year, almost 20, so we're above by about 6 inches. We have these flash flood warnings as the creeks and streams continue to rise for about the next 12 to 15 hours. A lot depends on that, when these crest, depending on where and how much rain we get throughout the overnight hours. Look at rainfall amounts. Last 36 hours, a little sliver, Jasper County into Dade County of 9 to 10 inches. All this magenta is at least 7, and at least 5 to 7 out through southeastern Kansas. Even the areas that didn't get much got 3 or 4 inches. So everybody got tremendous amounts of rain, just periods of showers and thunderstorms last night. At least today, the rain has backed off a little bit, but you can see it increasing again. Southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma, kind of extending down into north central Oklahoma. This is the back side of this system, or the main upper level wave. So once it passes through, things will look a little bit better. All right, most of these storms are behaving. We do have a couple of little stronger guys, but I'm not really expecting severe weather tonight, minus the flooding. We may get a random severe thunderstorm warning. Most of these are just going to be strong, heavy amounts of rain, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, maybe some very small hail. So at least we don't have a big severe threat. But you can see these all are from Fredonia, Independence, over toward Parsons. All these are pushing east, northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, starting to pick up a little bit in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Most of the metro, Joplin, Neosho, Miami, Carthage, up to Pittsburgh are dry at this point in time. Let's go through time. Here's 8 p.m. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, a few of these could be a little bit stronger. Not overly concerned. We don't need any more rain. This is just going to cause the rivers, creeks, and streams to continue to rise. 11 p.m. Scattered thunderstorms still. Heaviest is going to start to push east after midnight. After midnight, we just get into these light scattered showers that last into the morning hours, and then we're finally done with this storm system. So additional rainfall, but a lot of areas could pick up another ½ inch to an inch of rain as we go through the overnight hours tonight. This is our Lander Chevrolet. I don't know why it zoomed back into a small box, but we're looking at Interstate 44. All right, temps sitting into the mid 60s right now. We are going to cool off a little bit. Once this system passes by, we get into much drier conditions as we go through the next few days. So that is good. We're going to get a break behind all this rain. Moving into Friday, Friday actually looks decent. We're going to have a lot of clouds in the morning, partly sunny skies in the afternoon. Temperatures not too bad as we go into the mid 60s for highs, and then we really start to warm up. 80 by Saturday, 86 by Sunday. Upper 80s all next week. Chances for thunderstorms are pretty low, so I'm keeping it dry, but it will start to ramp up once again by next weekend.
What a change, though, for the next week before the weekend. I
mean, sun,
80s, 80s, 80s throughout.
Right. It's going to be very spring-like.
I guess. Hey, when severe weather does strike, you're going to want to stay informed, of course, and you can do that by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team will live stream during severe weather events, giving you all the updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Still ahead, all MIAA honors for 16 local baseball players, including 2 first-team all-conference picks. And Pitt State's Dallas Flowers prepares for his NFL shot with the Indianapolis Colts. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
Well, the MIAA released its all-conference baseball awards this afternoon. 9 from Missouri Southern and 7 from Pittsburg State earned all MIAA honors today. Now, leading the way for Pittsburg State, this guy, first baseman Garrett McGowan. He's a first-team all MIAA selection and made the MIAA Gold Glove team. Now, McGowan hit .410 this spring, 19 doubles and 16 home runs. He tied for the MIAA lead with 75 RBIs in 47 games. As for Missouri Southern, pitcher Logan Van Wy is a unanimous first-team All-MIAA pick. He led the conference in strikeouts with 113 and 75 innings of work. 8 other Lions join him on the all-conference list. You can check out a full list of All-MIAA selections for both Missouri Southern and Pittsburg State on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. Speaking of Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball, the two teams will meet tomorrow night in the first round of the MIAA tournament. Game 1 of the 3-game series will be at 6 p.m. tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. Now, Pitt State is the number 3 seed in the tournament, while Southern is the 6th seed. Now, the Gorillas took 2 out of 3 from the Lions back in their first MIAA series of the season. All of that, though, kind of going out the window because it's a rivalry matchup, and these two teams, different teams than they were back in February.
We really haven't hit a bunch of home runs as of late, so we've kind of changed a little bit, and we've moved the baseball around a little bit. Been able to steal some bases lately, but they got a lot of juice in that lineup, and we're going to have to pitch really well, and we're going to have to do all the little things well to have a chance to win.
We need to throw strikes, first of all, and we need to get some big outs from our bullpen, and we've kind of hopefully prepared our guys for that. They're a really good offensive club. I feel like the winner of the series will be the team that can get the most out of their bullpen.
We're ready to show that we're one of the most dangerous teams in this conference, and we can go as deep as anyone else.
On the softball side, Missouri Southern opens the conference tournament tonight, facing 6th-ranked Rogers State in Edmond, Oklahoma. The game was scheduled for 4. Weather pushed it back, so they're just now getting started with no score in the first. Well, former Pittsburg State cornerback Dallas Flowers has earned his shot at the NFL. Flowers has signed as an undrafted free agent with the Indianapolis Colts. Flowers was a first-team All-MIAA selection for Pitt State last fall and a second-team All-Conference pick as a kick returner. He had 21 tackles and a team-high 4 interceptions. Also had 2 kick return touchdowns. After the draft, Flowers says he got calls from about 5 teams, but in the end, felt like Indy was the place to be.
It came down to like best fits and scheme-wise, like depth charts and stuff like that. So I mean, I feel like with the Colts, they run some zones, some press man. So I feel like I can showcase my ability very well in that system, with my height, my frame, my athleticism, my speed. So, I mean, I just think that's the best fit for me.
And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Alan Kirkpatrick served in the U.S. Army in World War II. The Havana, Kansas native was stationed in Germany, and we salute Private First Class Alan Kirkpatrick, a 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to hear from some Oklahoma residents cleaning up after a tornado yesterday. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is planning to hold a procedural vote next week to enshrine abortion rights. Those stories on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Don't need any more rain, but looks like we're going to get it anyway.
Yes, scattered showers and thunderstorms stick around throughout the evening into the overnight hours tonight. Some of these could be a little bit stronger. Most of them will behave, which is good, but they are going to drop, again, some heavy amounts of rain. We do start to dry out tomorrow. Kind of cool, 66, but then the 80s roar in for the weekend.
They will behave, you say, those
Most
showers.
of them. There's a couple bad apples.
Okay. Behave, Storms. Final sports note.
We told you Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball play tomorrow in the first round of the MIAA tournament. We're going to have our full preview of that game right here tonight at 10.
Looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us. We'll hope you'll join us at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided by the